on to them.
Yo. All go on, YouTube land, big up yourself. You already know the vibes. Prolific Vibes podcast today. All podcast platforms, big up yourself. You already know the vibes. Prolific Vibes podcast. My name is Rick, and I'm here today with another episode. Today's episode is going to be number 18. Today's episode, we're actually touching base on real estate. We're going to deep dive a little bit into real estate. I'm not going to be here just looking at the camera talking to you guys. I'm actually going to have some clips I'm going to be showing through while I'm talking. So you guys just stay tuned, see what I'm talking about. I hope you guys can get some gems from it. And I appreciate you guys tuning in again for another episode. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I love y'all. Just stay tuned and listen to what I'm about to tell y'all. All right? So I have a list that I have here that I wrote down. I've been actually going through it all morning, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I kind of give it to you guys as dry cut and raw as I possibly can. And like I said, today's episode is going to be episode number 18, and we are going to title it Real Estate 101. And this is for people that actually already started real estate, want to get in the real estate business, want just a little bit of insight, a little bit of knowledge. So whatever knowledge I have, I like to pass it on to you guys. And like I said, anything I know, I don't have a problem sharing it. So, you know, while I was on my real estate journey, these are 10 things that I feel is super important. And I'm just going to run it by you guys. It's not in no specific order, but I just feel these are the top 10 things definitely I think people should know and be prepared for. So if you want to get into real estate, either you want to buy and hold or you want to fix and flip, just do rehabs, that's fine. It could be for either one. You know, the rule still applies. It doesn't change. So here we go, guys. Number one is you're going to have to know the business. Do your due diligence. Do your research. You want to get as much information as possible, either in books, online, wherever the information is coming from, if it's about real estate. You know, if you want to read about guys that's already doing real estate, their autobiographies, that's fine. I'm not going to name drop anyone. I'm not going to give any suggestions because everybody's in a different market. Everybody has a different way of learning. But definitely, whichever way you know how to learn real estate, you need to get the knowledge. You need to find out where you can get the knowledge in the business. You know, you have to do your due diligence because honestly, in every market, it's a lot of scammers. You want to know the business ins, you want to know the business outs. It is more scammers and more unethical and more liars in corporate America, real estate, than actually in the streets, in the drug business, in whatever illegal business it is. You actually have people who are more honest in that, if you can believe that. There are so much cutthroat, nasty people that's in real estate, and of course a lot of other corporate businesses. You'll be surprised. And they're using the law, they're using legal fandangles to tie you up in money situations, court situations, property situations, title situations, deed situations. And the only reason why they getting away with it a lot of times because they know the business in and out. They did their due diligence, guys. So that's something I feel you guys should definitely want to have under your belt. Whatever knowledge you can get from where you want to get it from, go ahead and get it. Just make sure you have the knowledge in the business and kind of treat it like the streets. Pay attention because there's people in these industries that's out to get you. All right, guys. Number 2, find someone that's a teacher that's been doing it for a while. If you have to pay for it, that's fine. And I'll tell you why. Don't go to anyone that's saying that they're a mentor. There's a key thing that I found out. When you're teaching someone to do a particular task or in any industry, you don't call yourself a mentor. Let them call you their mentor. You don't go around saying you're the mentor. Watch out for people like that. People walking around here saying that they're mentoring people. It's a form of being narcissistic, and it's also a form of an ego thing. you don't walk around saying, I mentor this guy, I mentor that guy, I'm mentoring these people. Real mentors don't do that. So be careful at that word mentor. Pay attention to people that saying that they're mentors, because they're using it as a cover and mask to really hide their real agenda. So be careful of that word. So I would say find real teachers, people that's professionals, people that have, accredited information and accredited resources to find out what they've been doing for years, because there's but so long you can do people wrong and still be in business. So find people that's been doing it for a very long time and has a good record, a good report. Whatever way you can find out about these people, go ahead. So be careful of people that call themselves mentors, but you definitely want to find yourself a teacher. Find someone that you can rely on to get a wealth of information from. And like I said, if you have to pay for it, that's fine. Just once again, there's a lot of scammers in this business. Know what you're paying for. Do your research. Do your due diligence. So you definitely want to get that done. Find a teacher, even if you have to pay for the service. Number 3, guys, we're going to say you need to have basic knowledge in sales, math, and of course, negotiation. This is going to apply when you are walking properties, when you're looking to purchase distressed properties, properties that need work, that of course you're probably going to rehab and sell, or you're going to rehab and hold. You're going to buy, hold, and possibly rent it out at a later date. So the math part comes in where you have to know your numbers. You want to know the market. You want to know where the property is located at. You want to know what your rehab budget and your cost going to be. You need to know price of material. So you need to have the basic knowledge of math. You don't have to be a mathematician, but you want to know math. You want to know the basics. When it comes to sales now, basic sales skills, allow you to read the room. You can kind of read people in the sense of, if you can get something for less, or they're not going to budge, or if you're getting a good deal, or if they're overcharging, things like that. So just small knowledge. Like I said, no, we don't have to be a professional, but just have a little bit of a background in sales. You want to know the ins and out of negotiation. You want to know the ins and out of things to say, hot topics, hot points. Like for example, you're looking at a property, you want to not, be rude to the homeowner, but at the same time, you want them to know within themselves that their house needs work. So for example, you'll be like, oh, you have a nice house, it's big. But then right after, you can then say, man, the roof looks kind of bad though. When was the last time you did the roof? So you're giving them a compliment while you're beating them down. So keep that in mind, guys. A little bit of math, and of course, a little bit of negotiation skills. Don't have to be a professional, but you want to have a little bit of that in your mouth. If you got to learn, if you got to practice, do it. Oh, I love, the paint job, but hey, it looked like the paint's cracking over here. Was that water damage? Is there some type of structural damage? Why is it cracking? But I love the paint. It's a beautiful paint job. When's the last time did you painted the house? Little things like that. So while you're complimenting them on something, you're beating them down on something else. So you're planting these seeds in the back of their head. So when it's time to do your math, do your numbers to see what your rehab's going to cost, you know where you stand. And then when you give them that number, they already have it in their head like, oh yeah, that roof need to fix. I hear pipes rattling. There's a crack in the wall. There's watermarks in the ceiling. He did mention those things. He did see them. So I guess the price he's giving me is correct. So, those are things. And guys, just to tell you, this is Real Estate 101. It's still Prolific Vibe Podcast, because I am on a podcast platform and on YouTube, giving you guys my thoughts. But it's a deep dive into the beginner of real estate, people that want to start real estate, just things that they should know and look out for. Then we can get more specific in a specific situation, terminologies, things of that nature. So guys, number 3, like I said, a little bit of knowledge or just a little bit of skills when it comes to negotiation, math, a little bit of background in sales is good to have. So that would be number 3. Number 4, you need to get the hands-on experience, guys. You need hands-on experience. that will save you time, and it will save you money, and it will save you headache. There are things in real estate, if you learn how to do it, put your hands on it, feel it, know how the tools feel, know how something's supposed to look, and you get that general knowledge of it, you can do it yourself. And then you don't have to pay someone to do it. So now you're saving yourself money on labor. You're putting in sweat equity. You're the one getting it done. So if it's a drywall that got to get put up, probably just a light, small things, and it doesn't need a main contractor to do it, or it's no major work, you could do it yourself. Save yourself that money. That's going to affect your bottom line, guys. You know, the bottom line of what your profit will be at the end of the project. If you're going to, sell it, or if you're going to rent it, you still want to, get more for less at the end of the day. It's the rule of good business. Do the most for the less to get back the most. So number 4, guys, hands-on training on the fly. If you don't know how to do it, pay someone to do it once, watch how they do it. Ask if you can help. If they allow you to help, the next time or the next project, you won't have to pay that person to do that. You can do it yourself. So hands-on experience, guys. Get your own set of tools. You don't have to get the most expensive, but get really good tools that will work. Scale saw, sawzall, Dremel, oscillator. You get what I'm saying? Screwdrivers, drills, hammers, little things there are things around the house that you can do that you don't have to pay anyone to do. So hands-on experience, guys. So that was number 4. Number 5, you're going to build relationship with people in different sectors of the real estate business. And what I mean by that is you want to get close enough, but they don't have to be a friend or everyday friend, but a business friend, close enough so you can understand different parts of the business. For example, you need to be communication and have relationship with law office. Try to have a designated law office that you close all your deals, because you will at some point get deals through that office as well. Build a rapport, build a relationship with those offices, with a law office, build a relationship and a rapport with a title company. Sometimes it goes hand in hand. The law office and the title company is the same. Build a relationship with those people. Build a relationship with good, reputable real estate agents. Not all real estate agents are very good, and not all of them means you well. Some of them just want a commission check. They don't even know the product that they're selling. They don't care about the product that they're selling. They just know that they will have to sell it to somebody. Somebody will like it. They'll get the money. They'll get commission, and they move on. They're not passionate about you as an investor. They're not passionate about your friendship. They just want your money. So be very clear with that, guys. Get people that is passionate about the business, people that is very informative, and people that can help you and benefit you. People that you can use down the line to, expand your business and get your business to the next level. So find people in the industry that Find people that works in the code enforcement office, if you could, be their friend. Find inspectors that you can get close to, so things that you can look for on your own projects. So when it does come to that point where someone has to inspect your property, you already have some knowledge, so things that you can avoid or you can eliminate, so that inspector don't mark that as a point on your inspection. Same thing with appraisers. Get to know appraisers, have conversations with them, see what they look for when they're appraising a property. Find out, does the color of a finish make a difference? Does the type of finish that you use in your bathroom, does the knobs that you use for your countertop, for your cabinets make a difference? Does a countertop color make a difference? Does it matter if it's quartz or granite? Things that make a difference. Does it matter if it's a full sink, deep sink, or a 50-50 sink? Does it make a difference? Is it an adjustable spout make a difference? A refrigerator does, find things that you can ask these people. So you're going to communicate and build relationships in the real estate business, because there is so much different parts of the real estate that you're not going to be able to cover all of them. So you want to find people that's in these other sectors that you can, befriend on a business level and then get these information. So that would be number 5, guys. Building relationships. Number 6, learn your measurements. Everything when it comes to real estate, from a standard perspective, have measurements. There's things that can also be small and there's things that would be oversight. But then you have actual measurements that's supposed to be the general size of something. So you have standard measurements, for example, doors. You want to learn these things, and that's why I say you got to learn the business, you got to learn the knowledge as well. Measurements, your front door, your back door, all external doors supposed to have a standard measurement. I'm not going to be telling you guys the measurements, because at this point I'm just giving you information for you guys to go look up yourself, because I want you guys to learn. I don't want giving you the information and then you do nothing with it. So I'd rather say it and you guys want to know what it is, and you go look it up yourself, and then you'll get the answer, and hope that will pique your interest and you'll deep dive and get further into it. So for example, there are standard measurements when it comes to external doors in a house. Standard measurement when it comes to bedroom doors. There's standard measurements when it comes to a toilet. You have standard measurements when it comes to a refrigerator, a stovetop microwave, a stove. You have standard measurement when it comes to these things. You have standard measurement when you need to know how big a hallway should be, or the distance between an island in a kitchen, how much walk around space you need in a kitchen, the minimum measurement you need to have, an island in a kitchen. So, when you get inspected, you don't fail inspection on these things. You need to know standard measurements from countertop to cabinet, backsplash space. What is that? If it's a standard house, from floor to ceiling, how many feet? From floor to the top of a door, how many feet is that? From the top of the door to the ceiling, how many feet is that? These are all standard measurements, but like I said, not all case fits one. You do have oversized measurements, you have small measurements to fit the space, and that's also fine. But you have to know your standards, and then for you to make those necessary adjustments if you're going to make changes, if you're going to make something oversized or smaller to fit a space. But you do have standard measurements on these things. So no measurements, guys. One thing I could say is one of the best things we did was that we learned was to walk around with a tape measure. Measure everything. Even if you feel like it's not important, measure it, write it down, put it in your phone. It's going to mean something later on. You have different sizes for pipes, 3-inch pipe, 2-inch pipe, 1-inch pipe. You have different measurement for different things, different tools for different things. Learn your measurements, guys. So that I would say would be number 6. Learn measurements, walk around with a tape measure. Like I said, start buying tools, little tools. You don't have to get everything at once. Get the ones that you're more comfortable with, or you feel like you're going to be using mostly, and then you take it from there. So that's going to be number 6. Number 7, guys, know your state rules and regulations. And the reason why I say that is every state is different when it comes to real estate, when it comes to zoning, when it comes to coding, when it comes to how you build your house. For example, in Atlanta, you don't have to build all concrete. You can do ply and basically 2x4s and build your whole house. That's not an issue. But then when you get into states like Florida, where they're considered like hurricane or storm states, you want to use concrete foundations. Florida doesn't have basements. Atlanta has basements, just to give you guys an example of the two closest states next to each other. That is pretty much night and day. So you want to know coding, you want to know rules, you want to know, what's expected for you if you're going to be flipping, you're going to be rehabbing, whatever you're doing when it comes to real estate, because you want to make sure you're always within your guidelines and you're not violating any of the rules, because once again, you're dealing with people have to live in these houses, whether they purchase or they rent, and you don't want to do anything wrong. You want to make sure you're doing everything right, 100%, that's state qualified, and you're not doing anything illegal. So always know whatever state you're in, guys. Find out your rules, your regulations, and your laws when it comes to real estate, when you're doing rehabs, either if it's a fix or flip or it's a buy and hold, whatever it is, guys. If it's real estate, just know your rules, because there are different rules for different states. Some of them are very similar. You're not really reinventing the wheel. It's just that you want to make sure you're within guidelines of the codes. So that's number 7, guys. Number 8, understanding and knowing the verbiage when it comes to real estate. There are things in real estate that once you use those words or you're using those verbiages or you're explaining something, a contractor can use that and know if you're a homeowner, a rookie investor, or you're seasoned in the business. And that's going to determine the price you're going to get for a particular job and how they're going to treat you. You know, you got to know things like, you know, have a contract in place with your contractors. If you tell me you can do this job in a deadline, every day after your deadline, now you're paying me because you didn't follow up with your deadline. And if you can't get contractors to commit to these things, then you know you're not working with someone that's serious. Someone that's serious about their job and know how long it will take within reason to do something would have no problem. And if they do it before, then you give a bonus. Give them an incentive to finish the job. So these are things you can use, guys, verbiage wise. You know, just things that in real estate that only real estate people use. You know, ROI, cap rate, these things based on what part of the business you're in, what you're doing. You know, your rent roll, you know, doors, how much doors you have, you know, what's your rent roll based on, you know, how much people paying for rent if you have an apartment building or you have a duplex, whatever it is. You know, just like I said, it's not rocket science, guys. You're not reinventing the wheel, but you do want to get familiar with the verbiage and things that you're doing and the name of materials and the name of things in the household that you can explain to contractors what you want get done. You know, things of that nature. So just learn the verbiage, know what you're talking about, sound confident, make it seem like you've been doing it for a long time if you're a new investor, so these contractors won't get over on you. And that's a part of, like I said, getting a teacher or being in tune with someone that's already in the business. And still be careful of those guys that call themselves mentors. Let me tell you. Number 9. Double. What it says? I'm sorry. Oh, I said check your measurements. And when I say check measurements, I just mean basically you are going to measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. In a nutshell, to save you time and to save money, make sure you're doing correct measurements. We've been in situations, me and my business partner, where we end up spending money because we're working with a contractor that want to make it seem like he's the best at what he's doing and he's working so fast. He's doing these measurements and then he's cutting, you know, for example, if we build in, say, a fireplace, and after he makes his cuts, it's short. You just wasted material. So you got to have these things in place. And sometimes you can't beat these guys up. So they make a bad cut. You got to eat it because people do make mistakes. But the less mistakes is the less money you're going to pay for it. So you always want to make sure your measurements is on point with whatever you're doing. So measure twice, cut once, guys. When you're building something, especially in real estate, double check your measurements before you make cuts because that's going to cost you. And if you don't make that very clear with your contractors and the people that's working, then you'll lose a lot of money. Before you know it, and there's, like I said, there's time. Before you know it, you're on the job site, you have 2x4s, you have plywood, you have these things packed up on the corner. You can't use it because the measurements are off. So unless you can brainstorm and figure out how to use it for a smaller project or to do something else, you just wasted material. And you can't bring those back to, you know, the hardware store. You can't bring those back and be like, hey, I f***ed up. No. So measure twice, cut once. And make sure whoever you're working with, this also knowing the verbiage and being on your work site. Don't just say you're an investor and you don't know the first thing about building a house or you don't know the first thing about rehabbing a house. Be on your work site, guys. You know, and if you can't be there, hire a project manager and let that project manager know that you know your shit. You understand? And they can't go around you. Know the price of your material. Know what things cost. You know, so that one there, guys, was like I said, double your measurements. Double. You know, so you measure twice, you cut once. It could save you a lot of money down the line. That was number 9. Number 10. Knowing the differences in your market and what price and angles you should go when you're trying to purchase, you're trying to sell, you're trying to rent, you're trying to rehab. You want to know your market. For example, you don't want to say you're doing a rehab and you're doing a fix and flip. You don't want to have a property in an expensive part of town and you're going to use subpar or minimal material. You're going to have to get better and bigger cabinets for the kitchen, better and bigger countertops for the kitchen. You want things to be a little bit more fancy. Your finish is going to have to cost a little bit more. And it vice versa. You build in a house in a lower income neighborhood. Yes, you're still going to give them nice things, but you're not going to go over budget to get this extravagant finish piece that is not needed. You're cutting into your bottom line. So you're knowing your market of what you're doing. And then on the flip side, if you're doing buy and hold and you're just getting these houses, you're fixing them up to rent them out. Understand, there's a thing called renter's depreciation, meaning the house is going to get beat up and banged up when you're renting it out to other people. So you got to take that in consideration. So you don't want to have the most expensive stuff in the house. You're still going to get nice stuff because, like I said, you want to treat people the way you want to be treated. You're not going to say, well, they're renting, so you're going to give them shit, but you're not going to give the most expensive. So you're going to know these things. You're going to go into the deal. Like they say in real estate, you make the money going in the deal, not at the end. So if you go in the deal wrong, by the end of the deal, you already lost. So you have to go in the deal the right way for you to make money. So if you're going into this purchase to hold it and rent it out, you want to do the bare minimum. You want to be a minimalist when it comes to the rehab. You're still doing good work. If you don't have to break any walls down, if you don't have to do an open concept, if it's not really an open concept, don't spend the money of demolition to give someone an open concept, because you might spend money. You might be opening up walls that have wires and pipes inside them that wasn't necessary. You're renting the house. Versus if it's a fix and flip, you might need to give that open concept because now you want to get top dollar for the purchase. You want to give people a more modernized, house that looks good and is more appealing. So yes, you would do those necessary things. So know how you're going into the deal first, guys. Know what you're getting the real estate property for from the beginning. So you're going into the deal profitable, not at the end. All right. And that's, to me, the 10 things that you should look for or you should aspire to know and understand as, new investors. And I'm not saying that's the only thing. There is a ton of things, guys. I'm here to tell you guys, and I'm going to teach you guys about real estate as I go, because I'm still learning as I go. I don't know everything, but I've learned a lot over the years. So these are things, guys, if you want to get into real estate, you want to know about real estate, you could, find other things online. And once you start learning and deep diving, there's things that you can put on your list. But these are top 10 things on my list. And I am going to give you guys a bonus thought as well. It came to mind at the end of my notes. And my bonus thought is, please put building insurance. Put insurance on your properties while you're working on them. You can't have builder's insurance once the property's occupied, of course. Then you're going to need renter's insurance, or the owner's going to have to get owner's insurance. But while it's a site that's being worked on, and the only people that's there are the owners as you, the investors, and contractors, you want to have builder's insurance. It varies on area, it varies on the coverage, but that's good for, vandalisms, theft, fire, flood. So while you're working on these properties, any of these things can happen. You want to be covered, guys. You don't want to lose your investment. And a good reason also to have this, because you might have disgruntled contractors. There are situations where a contractor might do a job and he didn't do it well, and there's a disagreement, and you decided he doesn't deserve payment, or he doesn't deserve as much as you guys negotiated on. And because you now have to find someone else to finish his job or to correct his job, you're going to need that money to pay that person. So you're not going to pay him what you agreed on because he didn't do what he agreed to do. So now what happened, and you have these contractors that's been in your house day in, day out. They know how to get in. They know what's inside your property. They same one will go back and steal stuff or break stuff because they're disgruntled. And it's because they didn't even do the right job they did. But because they are humans and we know how people are, they'll destroy your stuff. So instead of you being in the hole, you have insurance to cover that, guys. Or you might be in a so-called bad neighborhood or a low-income neighborhood, and you have people, they're thieves. They know what the property have. They walk the block every day. They see what's going in and out of the properties while you're rehabbing them. They'll go and steal these things. You want to make sure you're covered while you're doing this work. So builder's insurance is very important, guys. And like I said, this is just a quick deep dive into real estate. This episode we're going to call Real Estate 101. Important gems. I think everybody should pay attention to these if you want to get into the real estate game. These are just tapping the surface of getting into the business. We can get more in detail on specific things, but I just want to give general knowledge at this point. I'm always here, giving knowledge and shedding light. If you guys want to ask questions off air, you want to email me. I'm going to tell you guys the email again. It's going to be in the description. Follow it. The page, like the page, subscribe. You can send me a text. You can write a message. Give me your contact info if you have more information or if you just want to ask questions. If I know the question, I'll answer it. If I don't, I'll find out and I'll give it to you. However it works, because while I learn, you learn. And while you learn, I learn. And it's just here passing on the knowledge, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys again for another episode. Thanks for supporting me. I love y'all. All of the podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Big up yourself, YouTube land. Big up yourself. You already know the vibes. And like I always say, guys, positive thoughts equal positive results. Positive thoughts equal positive results. Positive vibes every time, guys. You understand what I'm saying? And big shout out goes to everybody that's supporting me, everybody that's sharing the message, everybody that liking the message. You know what I mean? I'm going to be giving you guys whatever knowledge I have out here to give, and always stay positive, guys. Thank you. And just to end this on a note, not a big Migos fan, but I do know of their music, and it's just unfortunate. We're in a time now where, everybody want to blame the music. They said it's the most violent music in the industry, or it's the most violent genre, which is hip hop. And I do disagree, because you do have people that is wealthy and capitalizing off hip hop, and they're not in any danger or in any means of the word in a violent business, and they're capitalizing it. It first starts with our community as black people, honestly. Black people, we got to stop killing our own. We got to stop killing each other. And that's just a trickle effect of us owning and being the majority in hip hop. So it makes it seem like it's the music and in entertainment. We got to stop killing ourselves first and depicting this behavior and this narrative. And then hip hop will never have a problem. So Takeoff, unfortunate loss. Condolences go out to the entire family. Condolences go out to the other members, Quavo and Offset. Unfortunately, man, it's just a sad day. And I'm going to just leave on that note, guys. We just have to care for our own, love our own, respect our own, and we can avoid a lot of this, violence, bro. We can avoid a lot of this, man. I'm just sorry that's even a topic or something to talk about, is losing another person in the business and a person of color to gun violence, of course. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week, man. Love y'all. Until the next episode, all right?
Yeah.